entire show of Hot Topics. The fall of Matt Lauer. As more sexual misconduct allegations emerge, he's breaking his silence. Is Trump inciting hatred? The international firestorm over retweeting anti-Muslim videos, and how Sarah Sanders is defending it. Jay, Bay, and infidelity. Jay-Z opens up about what he says led him to cheat on Beyonce and how they got through it. Let's go! The View starts now with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
As y'all know, Miss Ross was supposed to be here with us today. But she had to cancel at the last minute due to the flu. So we're going to reschedule and get her back here as soon as possible. So, from that to this. As graphic new sexual misconduct allegations emerge against Matt Lauer, he released a statement saying that there are no words to express his sorrow and regret for the pain he's caused others. He notes that some of what's being said is untrue or mischaracterized, but there's enough truth here to make him feel embarrassed and ashamed. So some people are saying, well, okay, it's a good apology.
Well, he's basically saying some of it happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's good enough to indict you.
Yeah. I think he has to. I think he's owning up to it. But there seems to be, if you noticed the news cycle yesterday, it was like every time you refreshed your phone, there was a new article coming out.
Yeah.
And I think I'm seeing the reason he might have said some of this is untrue or misinterpreted is there were some things that, like, for example, the button they talk about on the desk, executives and high-level people have that all over that building and also in other industries.
Can you explain it?
What the button is it's pretty much like when you're in a meeting, even tech managers have these. You sit across from someone and let's say there's an HR, you're having a conversation and you need it to become a closed-door meeting. You push this button that just closes the door.
But it doesn't lock it.
Well, I think it might be able to be, I'm not for sure, but I know the big thing for the button, the way that it was capped in this article was this button was built for Matt and all this stuff. Every executive had it, and it kept you from yelling, went to a door, come in, come in, come in, you know, like, so everyone.
But the allegation is that though, if a door shut behind me, if I were in an office and an executive shut the door, if it's locked or not, it would make me uncomfortable. I know in the Senate, they don't have that. The only button my father has in his office is a button to call the police if, God forbid, something happens. There's no door that opens and closes, but so they should maybe reassess that.
They did have it at CNN, I'll be honest.
But I think the reason is a lot of meetings, if you've ever met with executives, they have to be closed doors because the newsrooms are wide open. So a lot of meetings you had were either confidential, high level, or HR.
Well, maybe they should get rid of that and have a nurse in there.
But by the way, there were glass...
a nurse?
Like the doctor does.
There were glass windows, too. So it's not like these are dark rooms where you're getting shut in. That's where I'm saying I can see details, having grown up over there and seen it in other buildings where that was couched as something disgusting, and you're kind of looking at it, you're like, wait, but everyone has like that. They're piling on a little some detail that you know to be not exactly what they're saying.
But I think it's important that he did come forward and say, you know, I apologize, I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, and at least acknowledging that some of this did happen.
Yeah.
And a significant amount of it, so much so that he was fired from his place of employment. He'd been there for 20 years. But my question is, you know, how do we go forward? Because 98% of companies have sexual harassment policies. 70% of companies have sexual harassment training. Well, that clearly isn't enough. And
well,
so
get rid of the NDAs, like the non-disclosure things we talked about. That's a big problem.
Or maybe give accountability. You know, there has to be this zero tolerance policy. Process, yes, because I know Whoopi and I, we've talked about having due process. But I saw a big change in schools when there was that zero tolerance for bullying. Immediately, parents took it more seriously, teachers took it more seriously, and I think it helped a lot. Why can't we do something like that?
Because, listen, what needed to happen has happened. It's become a dangerous thing to do to women. It is now, that's what you have to make it. You have to make it something that could cost you your livelihood.
The accountability.
It has, because in order, I think, for women to feel like they're being heard, there has to be something that makes somebody pay attention. And we haven't had that before. So now there is this thing where, you know, people are going to err on the woman's side now.
Yeah.
And it could be very, very hard for you.
I agree with that.
I'm sorry. And that's what I think is needed.
That accountability.
So that now, you know, and I don't know when this is going to end, because I have to tell you there's one more.
Oh, God.
Right before we went to air, Russell Simmons said he's stepping away from his company's over sexual misconduct allegations.
Didn't see that one coming.
No, I
didn't see that one coming.
It's just like, vroom, vroom. I mean,
where's the bottom?
everywhere.
Where's
I don't know where the bottom is, but I know that the initial thing that needed to happen, which is what people asked for in network, go to your windows, open it, yell, we're not going to take this anymore. Well, women have decided we're going to en masse take care of this. And it is no longer acceptable, and it's dangerous, because women will take you down now. They're not playing. They're, and
I think the problem was always money. Companies, like we heard that one allegation, I forgot which one it was, if it was Bill O'Reilly or Roger. Bill O'Reilly, they said, someone went to HR and they said he makes too much money, kind of like that's the problem.
Is that a direct quote?
That seemed the one
very, I mean...
No. The woman was saying he makes too much money, I can never take him down. Well, that's what she said.
He was called
he
was the 800-pound gorilla
No,
at
but
the
this,
time.
this wasn't called. She was in an article that she said she went in and they said he's the $50 or $50 million man or something.
I saw Gretchen Carlson yesterday on CNN, and she was saying that this is a cultural revolution. I think that's what's happening right now.
Let me just finish my point. I think the point I was making was that now, whereas companies couldn't afford to lose these offenders before, they can't afford to keep them now.
Can't afford to ignore it.
They've made it. Women have made it dangerous.
For the time being, don't get so excited.
Yeah,
but this has not happened before. No, you should be excited.
I'm cautious. I went to Anita Hill. I saw what happened.
Oh, listen.
Things stopped.
Anita Hill didn't have all the women power that women seem to have now.
No, it's different.
There was no support.
But can I say one thing that Joy and I will agree on? Our president is someone who's been accused of sexual assault. We're going to talk about a bunch of politicians that happen to, a bunch of them on both sides. So I agree with you that I'm also cautious, because we're still electing people. We're going to talk about Roy Moore soon. Like, I think in corporations, yes, but in politics, it doesn't seem to be permeating.
Well, we'll get to that. But I'm going to finish my thing, which is why I am happy about this. I am going to be excited about this, because I want women to know that this is what you do. This is how you handle this. And we are here, as we said several months ago, what needed to happen was you needed something that said, ooh, I better not do that. And this is, I mean, look, who thought Matt Lauer was going anywhere? Or
Bill O'Reilly.
Be excited. Be excited as you want. Just be cautious. That's all I'm saying.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Also, Gretchen was saying yesterday that the women who came out and have been subjected to this shouldn't have sacrificed their careers and should be getting jobs as well right now, which I do think these women who have come forward, who are incredibly brave to do so, should be given a second look at work. That's why I was saying yesterday I think Ann Curry should come back.
Well, there's a lot of
They want to, if NBC wants to repair their image, they should put Ann Curry on the panel with Hoda and Savannah. I've been watching the three of them. Let's see how that goes.
We'll see what happens. Now, politicians are taking a different approach to sexual harassment claims. Congressman John Conyers says he's not stepping down over his allegations. And here's what Senate candidate Roy Moore has to say about his accusations. Take a look.
They're liberals. They don't want conservative values. They're the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender who want to change our culture. They're socialists who want to change our way of life, putting man above God.
Oh, God, he is just...
But the women that accused him of have made these allegations are straight, heterosexual. Some of them are Trump supporters. Who are the lesbians and the people he's talking about?
It's the otherism you talk about, that fear-mongering of it's those evil people, the gays.
But those aren't the people that are accusing him of
but I think that's how you play to your base, is you're saying, because he has a very strong stance against LGBTQ, and he's compared it to bestiality. So this man has a moral, or he thinks he's standing on a moral high ground with this point.
That argument that he made was so crazy.
It's ridiculous.
I hope people that are voting in Alabama see that for what it is.
I'm going to tell you something. This guy's probably going to win.
Really?
Yep.
What's that?
My money's on him still winning.
I think he's going to win.
So, yes, and I will tell you that I feel the need to say this every time he's on TV. This is a Breitbart guy. He's not a conservative guy. Mitch McConnell put a whole other candidate down, went down, campaigned for him, Trump campaigned for him. This is not who Republicans wanted. This is a disaster, no matter what happens.
This is not who the conservatives want. This is not anybody we know wants.
He wins or loses Republicans. This is a huge problem for us.
But doesn't he consider himself a Republican conservative candidate?
Yeah, Breitbart does, but I don't.
Yeah, but Trump is backing him because he has to.
But he
is now.
He won't go down and campaign for him.
No, but he already said, fine. Well, I don't believe the women.
Yeah,
you can't believe his women, and you're not going to believe his women.
It's so uncomfortable for me to sit and watch that, though, because I do think there are people in the country who think that this is representative of all conservatives, of all Republicans, and he is, a gross. I can't say on television because it's X-rated, but he's not what represents my party.
Go ahead.
Oh, just when you know how when I was making that point about Bill O'Reilly, just to clarify, it was a quote. Kristen Powers, USA Today columnist, said she complained of inappropriate comments made by Bill O'Reilly, but was told by then Fox News chief Roger Ailes there was nothing he could do about it because O'Reilly made too much money.
I worked with Kristen.
But what I mean is that I was quoting an exact thing that companies would tell people when they made a complaint that they made too much money.
But when there is no heat under your butt, when the fire is not under your ass, you're not gonna move. You know? We'll be right back.
Still ahead, dueling Kardashians. Why one of them says she wants to start carrying a gun, and who's calling for a ceasefire. Tomorrow on The View, it's the day we've all been waiting for. Friday, yes! And with Anna Navarro co-hosting, you know the topics are going to be hotter than hot.
That's right! TGIF!
Tomorrow on The View.
When Santa...
A lot is going on, and it's fast and furious. And as we said, politicians are taking a lot of heat. Folks that, stuff's happening. But the reality guy in the White House has sparked an international controversy, que surprise, after retweeting an anti-Muslim video or anti-Muslim videos from a far-right British website, some of which have been debunked as fake. But the White House still defended his actions. Take a look.
It's important to talk about national security and national security threats. Look, again, whether it's a real video, the threat is real, and that is what the president is talking about.
She's got a rough job.
If it wasn't so tragic, if it wasn't so tragic, it would be funny.
But it's so
insane
that a press secretary would say, it doesn't matter if the video being retweeted to the world, to his 44 million followers, is real. It's just about the message behind it. I mean, they always talk about this administration, about the irresponsibility of the media. Well, what about their irresponsibility in that instance?
You know what? You're forgetting one thing about this administration. One thing that people have to remember about Trump and this girl and the rest of them, they have no shame, okay? You cannot negotiate with people who have no shame.
But it's beneath the dignity of the office of the United States presidency.
They don't have shame. It's impossible to get through to them.
There are people.
You act like they're normal people. They're not normal.
There's a guy named Scott Adams that writes about the persuasive nature of the Trump administration, and it gives you an insight into not defending him, but what their strategy might be. Right. I think this is one of the most insightful comments yet by Sarah Huckabee Sanders, because there are often people that say, don't take him.
What do you mean insightful?
She's going to explain
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that not to take it literally. A lot of supporters say, the hyperbole, the exaggeration. The problem is they just admitted that if the message they're pushing is okay, it's okay to be misfactual, like to not be truthful.
Yeah.
And that was
To
the
use
first time
alternative
you're kind of hearing a term where they're confirming this idea that as long as you're pushing it for the right reason, it doesn't matter if it's literally true. You know, like, and that's a scary thing to see.
That doesn't play. That
It's
doesn't work.
very scary because I think, you know, he's clearly retweeted that 3 times, 3 different retweets to play to his base, to play to his supporters. And now they're somewhat confused because they don't know what is real and what it isn't, but they follow him. I want to address something you said yesterday, Megan. You said that I implied that all Trump voters are racist or misogynistic. And
can we put it in context? You said when Hillary won, and it comforts you that she won the popular vote because that means that not everyone is agrees with otherisms, not everyone is racist, not everything. And
no, what I said was I feel better that she won the popular vote because that tells me that the majority of Americans understand that racism is wrong, that otherism is wrong, and that a woman can lead.
Understanding that racism is wrong, I interpret it as saying that they're racist.
Yeah, but let me.
Can I ask you a question?
Wait,
Do you think all Trump supporters are?
Let me finish my thought so that I don't forget it. I think you misunderstood what I said. And if you misunderstood it, then other people out there misunderstood it as well. And my point was very nuanced. And so let me explain the point. I do not think that all Trump voters are racist. And I didn't say that. I have friends, I have family, I have colleagues that voted for Trump. And so I don't think those people are racist. I think they're good people. And I can't see inside people's hearts. But what I will say is Trump ran a campaign on otherism. He ran a campaign about birtherism. He ran a campaign about Muslim bans. He ran a campaign calling your father not really a true war hero because he wasn't captured. Because he was captured. Mexicans are racist. He has a history of housing discrimination against African Americans. The Gold Star families he went against. He says that he can grab women by the vagina. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. So when people hear that and look the other way, and not only look the other way, but vote for him, regardless of their personal motivation, whether it be race, whether it be personal financial gain, I think you're somewhat complicit in that because you don't have to be a racist to allow racism to flourish. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a bigot to enable bigotry. You don't have to be a racist to allow racism to flourish. And so when I said 3 million other people saw what he was talking about and they didn't look the other way, they decided I can't support that. And you know what? It does make me feel better at night. And it makes me sleep better at night. That was my point.
Yeah, got it.
Is it clear? Is it clear now?
I think we view the election. I agree with some of what you're saying. I think that, with all due respect, I spend a lot of time in Red America. I think I understand the Trump voter, and I think to say that they're complicit, there's a lot of people that felt really left behind. I think this election was about poverty. You also said something about Andrew Jackson having a photo in the White House being a siren song or a virtue signal. I don't remember exactly, but something about...
For the viewers that didn't see that, you know, Donald Trump, when he was talking in front of the code talkers, the Navajo Nation, he was doing it in front of a portrait of Andrew Jackson, who was the Indian killer. And he chose to have that portrait in his Oval Office.
And I said it was bad optics, but you said it was a signal. And I think for me, it's like sitting here being like,
well, why
if you have a picture of Andrew Jackson up, that means that you hate Native Americans.
But why him at that particular
Can I tell you something? It is, I'm trying to explain my people here on the show every day, and it's an intense challenge. It really is. I try very hard every day.
Which are your people? Which are your people?
I consider red state people my people.
You didn't vote for Trump.
I did not vote for Trump, but part of it is because of a personal attacks on my father. I couldn't reconcile those two things, but I do think that...
people can't reconcile his racist remarks sometimes.
Why do you think
that are of color?
About the
Wait, hold on. Let him finish.
I'm sorry.
I'm really trying. I try every day to explain Trump and his supporters, and I think that I feel like after Obama's election, I tried very hard to understand why he won, what we weren't doing as Republicans, all these things, and I don't think the same respect is being done to Trump, no matter how much you hate him, and I get it. Trust me, I get how much everybody hates Trump. I understand. But I'm just saying, you are doomed to repeat the same mistakes that you did in 2016 if you think it's only about you're complicit as this voter or you're whatever, and you don't have to listen to me, but I tell you, before I joined the show, I watched your Election Day episode. I was not shocked in the same way that you guys were by Trump's win. I was not surprised.
You weren't wearing a black veil like Joy?
You weren't shocked as well.
But
that's true, you weren't shocked.
Yeah, no, I wasn't shocked. But here's the thing, really, at this point, he is in there. And I will tell you, I don't hate anybody. I really dislike him because what he did, he didn't have to do. He didn't have to come in the way he came in. He didn't have to come in swinging like that. Yeah. And it pissed me off. But I will tell you this, and I'll say this before we go. Unless y'all, did everybody say what they had to say?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a
But I also
great
think
conversation.
that, like, a lot of people, no disrespect, and please jump in, Joy. Like, a lot of people hate Mike Pence and Paul Ryan. I had a conversation with him on the train that was like, I don't know who's worse, Trump, Mike Pence, or Paul Ryan. And when you call Bush Hitler, when you call my father Hitler, when you call Mitt Romney Hitler, at a certain point, if you cry wolf long enough, the beast shows up. So I'm sitting here telling you that we have to find some common ground here, and I try every single day, and I feel like I'm failing right now.
You aren't.
No.
Wait. Just everybody hold on. We'll be right back because we're going to finish this.
The View Store Online is one-stop shopping for everyone on your list this season.
My lovely Sarah, do you know what makes a great gift for the holidays?
I sure do. I got you one, too. Grab your gifts from the View Store. It's packed with mugs, merch, and a whole lot more.
This is my favorite hoodie. It is so soft. It is so warm. I think it will be your favorite, too.
So get your holiday shopping on now, because the View Store Online is the place to be at Christmas time.
Now, welcome back. Before we left, Megan was saying that she really does try hard to bring a different perspective, and I have to tell you, you do.
You do.
And it's important for you to know because, you know, people assume that who they see is who they are. You know, I'm a person who believes in a woman's right to choose, but I also have an over and under shotgun and will take you out if you're on my property. You understand? Well, I just want to, you know, because it's important to know that we are mostly, even in states where they say it's all red, it's all this, we are mostly shades of things. We evolve and we change.
Layered.
And what we can't do as Americans, regardless of where you live, is let the media dictate how you feel.
Yeah.
That is something, and they'll say, well, that's a red state or that, but we know that lots of different people live in lots of different states. So it is, again, up to all of us to continue the conversation. And sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it gets a little, get like this sometimes. But we're here to try to do it, to show that it can be done, and that it can be done with women. Because, you know, they always say, oh, women can't do this, can't do that. We're here to say, yes, it can be, and it is incumbent upon us as American citizens to do our job to get out and make voting a priority again. Yeah. Right. Forget all this other BS. Those are the things that are going to be incumbent upon us.
And that's the thing, you know, and I want to say this to you too, Megan. I mean, this is a hard job. This is a hard job to discuss your views, to try to explain in 5 minutes or 1 minute how you feel and how the rest of the country feels.
Without being interrupted every second.
Yeah,
also.
and I think... And I
like
think,
just not... No,
and I've told Megan off camera, this is a unique table. This is like being initiated into sorority with 20 people, right? 21 people. and
I never was in a sorority.
and you know, the only people that understand what it's like are the people that are sitting here. And I think you're doing a great job.
This is what I will say is I worked at Fox for a long time. It's fun working at Fox when you're a conservative because everybody agrees with you. But there is a point that Trump's America has changed things for me in a lot of different ways because I do feel like I don't believe in echo chambers anymore. And I think working on this show is important because obviously showing that perspective. But Trump makes everything so hard for traditional conservatives. I've been a conservative while he was, you know, giving money to Chuck Schumer. And it makes everything hard, and it's hard to watch Roy Moore because I feel like the people watching at home are like, well, she's a Republican. She must agree with pedophilia. I am a Trevor Project Award winner for my advocacy work with the LGBT community. How do you think that makes me feel? You know?
I give our viewers, Megan, I give the American public more credit than that. I don't think that people think because you are a conservative Republican that you agree with everything that Trump... Well, I don't. But I give people more credit than that. I mean, people are not one-dimensional. Of course you wouldn't support that. I hope that people are better than that.
Jump in.
What?
I want to hear
Well,
are you doing fine?
I would let her jump in, but it's the holiday season. Can you hear the bells? Can you hear the bells? That's for you. Can you guys see? Can you hear the bells? Okay. It means a lot of party planning, gift shopping, decorating, and an op-ed in the Huffington Post claims that all the holiday magic is killing women. Because we get stuck doing most of it.
Yeah, that's true.
We do everything. We decorate, we write, we wrap the presents, we cook the food.
I'm sick of it.
She's sick of it.
This last Thanksgiving, I told you I had an epidural. I'm going to do that every year. I'm anesthetizing myself every year. It usually takes like 2 quarts of eggnog to get me to that point.
Right.
A shot in the back, I'm out.
And less calories. It is a lot, though. I was telling the ladies in our Hot Topics meeting, my daughter comes to me a day or two ago. Why don't we ever send holiday cards out? I said, why don't we send holiday cards out? Why do we have to send holiday cards out? Because everyone sends them except for us. And I started thinking, okay, I got to get the picture together, and I got to get online, and I got to download the picture, and then I got to get the address. It's exhausting. I'm not sending out
Let her do it. She'll do it. Let her do it.
You got a kid, and this is what she wants. She can actually work this out and do it herself.
She do the holiday cards.
Well, yeah, it'd be fun for her.
Well,
but how is this? How is this for? Nah, I wish I could. I got to do this in the
Just I'd like to make a plea for Mrs. Claus in this season. Instead of sending letters to Santa, send them to Mrs. Claus in light of all of the things that are going on right now. That's it.
But she does the work.
Wow. So how's this for a great gift for the holidays? I'll give you a hint about it. It can unlock your family's past. You know, the things that even your parents and grandparents never knew about the family. And it could change the way you look at yourself. Give your loved ones the gift of the discovery with Ancestry DNA, the most popular DNA test in the world, which now covers 5 times more regions more than anyone else. So thanks to Ancestry, members of our audience are getting Ancestry DNA kits. And Ancestry.com's 6-month membership, all valued at $200. And we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. So the next Keeping Up with the Kardashians takes on a subject that viewers might not expect: gun control. It started when Kendall Jenner said she wants to start packing to protect herself. Take a look.
She said she's like literally a different stalker outside of her house every few days, and like she's a single girl who lives alone and she just wants away. Like someone's already broken into her home, and what if she was there? Like, well, that's what you have security for. But in your situation, say that gun, you were able to get access to it. Would you know what to do?
I couldn't have gotten away to go get the gun. I'm not comfortable with it. I wouldn't want my kids around it. I wouldn't want, like, sleepovers going on here with the kids here, and I know there's a gun.
Well, we've had this conversation at this table, and I think, Sonny, you said you're not comfortable without knowing who's got what in their house.
Yeah, if my kids are going over to your house, I want to know if you are a gun owner, whether or not the gun is locked up. I certainly ask that, but I will say this. I live far outside of the city. You guys know that, where I raise my chickens and have my dogs. When my husband is away and I'm alone with my children, I worry about my ability to protect my family. And I can understand if someone lives in a rural area where it's going to take 20 to 30 minutes for the police to respond, and you don't have security, and you're a woman with children, you may need a gun to protect yourself.
I had the same experience one time. I lived in the woods believe it or not. And my husband, for some weird reason, the first husband, had to go to Tijuana for something. I mean, he was working on his PhD or something. And I was alone with 2 basset hounds and a baby.
Yeah.
And I was reading In Cold Blood.
Oh, God.
Oh, why did you do that?
I don't know, but I was reading that.
You might as well watch a scary movie while you're at it.
I was reading that. I mean, I don't know. It was like about this family in the woods that gets killed by these crazy people.
Yes.
And it's like, I was like trying to like work it through or something, you know, some craziness in my head. And I was petrified. And at that point I said, now I want to learn how to use a handgun. Which, so for people to think that I'm against First and Second Amendment, I'm not. But only for that. I'm not interested in the AR-15 to shoot deer as if the deer are in ISIS. Okay? But the handgun that would be locked away for my use to protect myself and my basset hounds and my baby, I believe in that.
Well, also, someone like Kendall, you see that people are famous. The stalkers are a big issue. And over the years, we've heard of these people that get through and kill people.
And she lives alone.
Like, I think the big thing is just like the idea of a stalker coming around your house or being in your house, like I can totally see why she'd want to.
Well, there are alarms, you know, that you have an alarm in the house,
sometimes, but one of the things that happens, you know, is... And I can tell you this from experience. People cut alarms. Yeah. They can cut your wires.
They sure can.
It's not, I mean, it's a whole thing. Look, I'm a gun owner. You're a gun owner. I think responsible gun owners don't mind if you check into their past because they want you to know they know what they're doing. They don't mind going to get done. They don't mind. And so I think when people educate themselves about guns and how to protect yourself, I get that. We all get that. But I think it's interesting that this discussion is happening even with them. Because for years and years and years, you know, I always thought they were surrounded by bodyguards. But, you know, to hear that, you know, she's concerned enough to say, maybe I should do this. I want to learn how to do it. Because, you know, people in L.A. and in Beverly Hills, you know, a great many of them are packing because it is scary.
And they're spread out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised her position didn't change after her assault in Paris because 200,000 sexual assaults were prevented by self-defense with firearms last year. So I am surprised she didn't sort of take a second look, but she said that she didn't think she could reach the gun in time. So I guess obviously it's a very personal issue for each person, but I don't think she should tell her little sister who has a bunch of stalkers that she shouldn't necessarily look into it as well.
So it's, you know, see, we had a great discussion. We'll be right back.
Come on!
Come on!
You know this is the only place in daytime dishing out the hottest topics.
Give me some credit. I'm a tough chick.
This is why you need women running the world.
People want change.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, joy!
That went too far, I guess.
So grab your phone and join the conversation.
I'd love to see that.
And don't miss The View on ABC.
Okay, so I was supposed to be talking about something else, but I feel the need to discuss barren chickens. Because apparently Sonny has the only set of chickens that are refusing to lay an egg.
It's so crazy.
They just, she walks by, they go,
Yeah, they're barren.
She's worried about what she's feeding them, if they're too fat, if they're too skinny. Then she was talking about
so big.
Remember when you were talking about your friends and I walked in and you were like, okay, so what I think I'm going to do is bring someone that's carrying an egg and they'll be like, well, she has an egg. And I was like, wait, that's the solution.
That's my solution. I'm going to get a laying hen so that she can show the other hens what's going on.
Don't you have laying hens?
I have 3, but they're not laying anything.
You just said, though, that
maybe they need to get... Never mind.
Go ahead. Maybe somebody told me that they may be stressed.
Yes.
That they're stressed.
You think?
Because I'm checking on them all the time.
This is Sonny. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
I was going to say, it sounds like they're obese.
She said
no,
they're
this
obese.
is what she does. This is what she does outside the thing.
I do. I keep on walking back and forth. I'm like, where are the eggs?
And when you listen really close, the chickens are like, is she still out there? And the other was like,
We just did. My friend Kendra says to me, she lives in Canada. She's like, all of our chickens are laying eggs. And she goes, your chicken coop is too small. They need a chicken run. So my husband and Kendra and Marvin get together Thanksgiving weekend and build this huge chicken run. Chickens are running all around, no eggs.
Maybe they have stage fright because you're always watching them. It's like going into a stall with others.
If anyone has suggestions, please tweet me or something.
Get some new chickens. Okay, just get some chickens that you know have laid some eggs. See, they might be too young.
They don't have a track record.
I've been raising them.
No, they don't have a track record.
They might be too young.
They'll lose their different chickens.
You think so?
They're losers.
What a bunch of dud chickens.
Losers.
But how could you have 3 dud chickens? I mean, I've been raising them. They were born on May 31st.
Oh, you know what's wrong with these
Trade
chickens.
them in.
Y'all know what it is.
What's it? What is
They're
it?
bougie. These are bougie chickens. These chickens are like, no, Miss Thing, I'm not laying jack.
Nothing.
I'm not laying nothing
And they do look at me when I come out.
Because they're setting you up. They set you up. They chumped you.
They did.
Chump chicken. We'll be right back.
He was just warming up last time. So CNN political commentator Ana Navarro's back at the table for an entire show of hot topics tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. Thank you all for coming. And if you have any suggestions on what to do to get a hen to lay an egg, let us know. And take a little time to enjoy the view.